Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend after he kept mentally abusing me? I, 22F, got into my very first relationship with my boyfriend. Let's call him Pius, 23M, when we were both 21. It was my very first relationship. Pius, however, has been in 2 previous relationships, none of which lasted months. He kind of pursued me for over 8 months, and I said yes to him, realizing that I felt the same. The problem started after 5 days of our relationship. I thought he was being possessive, and I brushed him off. We both are in medical school. FYI. I went home for about 20 days during winter break, and that's when I realized a lot of things. The guy had no respect or understanding about boundaries or interest in the other person. I usually go home once a year, so throughout that time, I try to be with my family as much as possible, but I also made sure to maintain contact with him. He, however, wanted replies as fast as possible. If I didn't text him back within 5 minutes, he would start complaining about how he probably meant nothing to me and how he felt so lonely. Mind you, he lives and goes to college from his very own house, so that wasn't an issue for him. He was always at home. After I came back, we celebrated my birthday, and the next 2 months went by pretty okay. We had small fights, but I tried to adjust and brush it off. There were frequent comments from my classmates about how I deserved better and everything, but I took no heed to it. I was in love, supposedly. He always used to taunt me if I didn't look at him enough during classes or sit beside him, or if I couldn't come to meet him when I had to take leave because I was sick. Eventually, I realized that Pius was trying to take full control of my life. He always insisted that he check my phone. Not that I had anything to hide, so I let him. He would ask me not to add my college seniors. I never talked to any of them, as he was aware of their intentions. He kept count of my followers on Instagram and started accusing me whenever I added anyone new. Things became too much to handle after a while, and I told him that I needed to break it off. He grabbed the watch that he gifted me, ripped it off my hand, and broke it into pieces. I was a crying mess, standing in the middle of the road. I realized eventually that I was crying most of the time. Those actions kept increasing until one day he started acting so crazy that I thought he would hit me. I curled up and cried in the corner of a bed. I felt so pathetic for myself that I realized I had to leave. Things went downhill from August when we were having our exams. Mine went pretty well. While he was afraid that he would be retained back as he performed poorly, he made me go through hell during that time, crying one time, screaming another. He would always push me to do things I absolutely disliked. It makes me wonder if that guy ever loved me or basically hated me. After the exams, we went out, and he refused to go. My friend dragged me out, and I too needed a break from staying in all the time. All the people I went out with were our mutual friends and classmates. The next day, Pius called me and berated me for going out, telling me how he was suffering from God knows what the whole night. He wasn't sick or anything. He hated watching me enjoy myself. Fast forward to his next birthday, I broke my back saving up and gave him some really nice gifts. He couldn't even get me a flower, even though everyone knows how much I adore flowers. Throughout our relationship, he couldn't do that bare minimum. Every time I asked him to change his ways, he would just tell me that he was working on it. I absolutely saw no changes whatsoever. A day after his birthday, he started complaining again about how I wasn't doing enough for him, and something snapped. I always did. I always got him gifts. I always got him food whenever he skipped meals. I was the only one doing anything while he would give me an earful about just dropping me off. Just that bare minimum. I broke off the relationship 2 days after his birthday. I felt sad, but I decided it was either me being temporarily sad over the relationship or permanently sad with him. After ending it, he went around the whole class, telling everyone that I replaced him with someone better. He cried, sympathized, and did everything possible to berate me. He wrote long texts, and when I blocked him, he sent long emails about how he hated me, how no one ever liked me, how he deserved better, and how I destroyed him. I felt like I had wasted a year on that guy, doing everything possible just to hear all these things in the end. So, am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend after he kept mentally abusing me?